Visión comunal, en contacto con las comunidades.
Venezuela in the news. News from the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela.
Headlines. President Maduro supervised the local supply committees. Venezuelan Ministry of Foreign Affairs rejects meddling statements made by Joe Biden. National Electoral Council denounced the MUD for acts of intimidation. In the state of Aragua, north-central region of Venezuela, the head of the national government supervised the local supply and production committees, known by their Spanish acronyms as the CLAPs, as part of the economic and agro-food motor. President Nicolás Maduro and the ministers responsible of the food and defense area informed that until now there are 14,000 organizations of supply mechanisms, with the goal of closing the year with 21 established CLAPs in the country. This supply plan began on September 1st until the 31st with the objective of countering the economic warfare. Venezuelan Minister of Foreign Affairs, Desi Rodriguez, demanded respect from the government of the U.S. after Joe Biden's meddling statements to the Latin American nation. Rodriguez emphasized that the Vice President of the North American nation, Joe Biden, encourages the external and violent actors to implement actions that disrupt the peace and stability in Venezuela. The minister asked for Obama's government to take actions in accordance with the rules of the international public law and to respect Venezuela, for they are offending the people of the independent and sovereign Republic of Venezuela intending to give orders. Rector of the Venezuelan Electoral Council, Tania D'Amelio, denounced the leaders of the opposition party coalition MUD for the actions of intimidation against the authorities and the workers of the electoral entity. D'Amelio alerted about violent attacks, even though the MUD organization knows the agenda already presented on August 9th by the president of the Venezuelan electoral power, Tibisay Lucena, besides the current resolutions, but keeps maintaining a double standard. Among the steps that are left for the recall referendum to be completed, it is requested of the opposition leaders to collect 20% of the signatures of the district's electorate in each state of the country. There still remain 6 steps left in order to activate the public consultation mechanism between the reception, verification, and quantification of the manifestation of will, among other steps established by the National Electoral Council.
Venezuela in the news.
A newsletter from Petróleos de Venezuela informed that 300 million cubic feet of gas per day will be incorporated to the national distribution network by the Venezuelan State Oil Company. The government is already building the first stage of the gas conditioning plant for Guiria's international market, located in the state of Sucre, joint oil project with Petróleos de Venezuela's industrial complex Gran Mariscal Antonio José de Sucre. The construction of the first stage of the plant in Guiria has already an 80% progress, as informed by the Vice Minister of Gas for the Ministry of Petroleum, Douglas Sosa. The figures issued by the Ministry of Petroleum specified that in the month of August, PDVSA produced 108,000 barrels of liquid natural gas per day and 5,163,500,000,000 cubic feet of gas per day. As part of the actions implemented by the Gran Misión Abastecimiento Soberano, or Great Mission of Sovereign Supply in English, 97,332 metric tons of yellow corn and soybeans were unloaded in the facilities of the Bolivariana de Puertos in Puerto Cabello, central region of Venezuela, as announced by that organism. The import strategy applied by the Venezuelan government is a contribution to the country's productivity. 82 containers of medicines, meat, and powdered milk also arrived at this port. Single authority of the Central Region's port system and general manager of the state port in the state of Carabobo, Division General Rafael Aguana, informed that the ships identified as New Lead, Boston Harmony, and Wuchang arrived at the port. The shipment of soybeans was delivered by the Poultry Plant and Balanced Foods, Alibala, and received by the Corporation of Supply and Agriculture Services, CASA, company that distributes and sells the products equally and at fair prices through the agro-food industries of the country.
News from the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela.
Headline: President Maduro supervised the local supply committees. Venezuelan Ministry of Foreign Affairs rejects meddling statements made by Joe Biden. National Electoral Council denounced the MUD for acts of intimidation.
Venezuela in the news. News from the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela.
Visión comunal, en contacto con las comunidades.